groups of people going off and doing their own thing. That's not to be tolerated. You need to stick to the platoon plan and adhere to it. Otherwise, you're screwing up. And have time.
Members of TSB include Slushy, Risen Kill, Prozion,
if you're in a vehicle,
Moxybren, Mapnora, Jay Osiris, Jersis, I was butcher his name, Iota, Hadev, Galil, and Devincer.
Let's go through.
Scandi Recon members include the standards, Nemesis, Flying Finn, Yanni Finn, Nafs.
Load in.
I don't think Yander's here.
A big
I don't see him.
Thank you to all of our contributors over on our Patreon.
But yeah, Infidel, Yanni,
Munis,
Nemesis,
Fox,
and they said there was a fourth today, but I don't see him, so...
Staffelberg, Indigo Fox, Ricardo, and Nemesis. Thank you
Oh,
very
and Flying
much,
Finn,
guys.
yeah, so those are the four that are here today.
To everyone who's donated, it's great to see it kick off so well. And for anyone else who's thinking about getting involved...
And we also have people like Ark Hallis and Audrey Hotto that are coming as solo players.
Come and join us in becoming... helping to finance and progress this wonderful thing to run smoother and be bigger and better.
Got this new enemy plot.
I see how it is, Dingo.
Oh, man.
Are you on that list?
Yes, I'm on that list. I was the second one on that list.
Roger, shouts out to you as well. My apologies.
Racist.
I'm
Odd
the
refund.
donator, and then the funds, it waited a month before taking the funds out, and I don't have it anymore, so...
Yeah, it's all good.
He's
That was strategically planned.
For reference, our next goal from Patreon funding is to set up a dedicated EU server. So anyone in the EU that would like a better ping and is able to contribute, that is our next goal here.
Yeah, please do.
When's the Dingo OnlyFans?
Anderson only does
When I lose another 12, when I lose another 12 kilos, base beard, I'll give you that show. Right, is Greg?
Larry, I'm just smiling and shaking my head. You do whatever you want, my man.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, ladies and ladies. Welcome to this Friday. Before I get into the briefing, this mission is
Larry, just
sponsored
enjoy
by Raid
yourself.
Shadow
That's all I
Legends.
can ask
No, I'm
for.
kidding.
Hell
Alright.
yeah.
So of course it's your usual defense, or I mean destroy mission. The objectives are non-sequential. Give you guys plenty of, or the attackers plenty of space all around to
thank
do
you
their
again,
flanks
Larry,
and
like,
whatever they want. So,
the money's only going to go to new
there's plenty of
stuff, and
microterrain
I'll talk
all
about
around the
it
map, so
in
plenty
the
enough
brief here.
Cover for infantry
But
to
top left of
maneuver and all
Kujari,
that
this
good
is a
stuff.
lot
So,
of room, though.
everything else is pretty basic, same as usual, and enjoy.
This actually might be the biggest AO I've seen in FNF in
Fantastic.
quite a
Welcome
while.
For tanks, by the way.
Company leader, do you have?
So they're going to ask each other if there's any questions. I'm going to change my name back from Gimme Twitch URLs to Lcpl Liru. I'm going to, let's see, let's do the Guardians, because this is a deserty map, so we'll put that on loop. Yeah, that one, baby. And Wheaton just added his to the multis, so... Alright, we got one more. I know you guys always like to... You have a multi to show off everything that you, see all the players' POVs and see them all kill each other. I get it. That's why we provide for you guys. I'm just scrolling in to see... The official count is going to be 118 people on the server. There were 3 people in spectator slots, so this is going to be a 113 player operation. Reminder, this is one life. The objective is OPFOR starts in this zone. There's going to be a 15-minute safe start, and then... Oh, I don't like the looks of this. We got some frozen buttons here. That's why. It's because people are connecting. The objective is to destroy 3 ammo caches. So I am going to hit my keys right now to have my... get rid of that little interface right there and put on my tracers button. By the way, you're going to start seeing tracers in Zeus Ops, so hope you are excited for that. A lot of vehicles to work with here, and I also want to see what the MAT team is given. So OPFOR MAT team is given a Metis. All right, interesting choice there, but we're also seeing, I thought I just saw another AT launcher of some sort, but that might have just been the shine of this. It looked like an RPG-42 from Vanilla, so got a Metis launch, which means GREENFOR will probably also have a Metis launcher. And that's pretty fair, to be honest. It's not an OP Titan or Javelin. It is instead something that you still have to direct onto the target. So that would be DeClark. DeClark also having... He only has an RPG. Wait, there it is. There's the other Metis. All right, so it's a Metis mirror match for AT. Now, let's get everything sorted here. So first off, for those of you that have never been to a Friday night fight operation, how it works is each side has a bunch of players, they get a bunch of assets, and depending on the operation, they have to stick to that objective here. Again, 3 ammo caches. OPFOR has no idea where in these black zones the cache is, so they have to find it. We have the luxury of a bird's eye view, and we get to see the exact position of the cache, which, by the way, the defending team also sees these exact positions as well. At least I think they do. We're going to be able to see bullets fly around through tracer scripts, and we're also going to see grenades, both smoke and regular frags, get thrown around through little red symbols when they are thrown as well. Now, to break down the roster on the left side, if you're noticing all of these things, recently Friday Night Fights has expanded their roster to show more units because they were hitting the number cap at 127. They weren't able to do the numbers advantages of the factions because so many people have been coming in. So to break it down real quick, let's scroll down to Independent since we're right here. Command represents Company Command because they're in charge of 2 platoons. So Stray Dog is the commander here, and he also has a Company Command level medic. And then you have 2 platoons, Platoon 1 and Platoon 2. So you got platoon lead, his 2 IC, a medic, and then a marksman per platoon. So each platoon has a marksman, meaning each side can have up to 2 marksmen. Usually this is a 7.62 rifle with an MOS scope for balance. Then you have Alpha, which is basically a letter, and it's by itself. There's no number. So this represents the squad lead and the squad medic. Then you have a fire team lead, and then a bunch of guys in the fire team. They have a medic, they have AT, and it varies. We'll see Arcalis' gear change in a second because he's not supposed to have that vanilla stuff. It's supposed to re-script there. But that's kind of funny that he still has it. Usually it changes. But otherwise, usually the AT, for Blue 4 factions, it's single shot AT, the AT4s, and OPFOR, it's reloadable RPGs. Then you see the same thing with Bravo here, it's another rifle squad. And then Charlie, for Platoon 1, is the weapons team. So Charlie in one team has a machine gun, which for OPFOR and GREENFOR factions, usually the PKP. For Blue 4, it's M240 Bravo. And then Charlie 2 is an AT team, and also known as the MAT team. So that has some heavy AT. In this case, it's a Metis launcher on both sides. But you also see, usually it's a reloadable RPG for Blue 4 factions. It's the Carl Gustav. For OPFOR and independent factions, usually it's a RPG 42, which is the vanilla launcher that is reloadable. However, sometimes you'll see Titans and Javelins used for guided AT. Sometimes you'll see Iglas or other forms of manpad AA, or in this case, you got Metises. So that's kind of the mission maker's choice. And then you'll have a second platoon that has Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot. Delta and Echo are the rifle teams, then Foxtrot's the weapon team. But that weapon team only has 2 machine gun teams instead of an MG and an AT. So it's only 1 AT weapon per group. And then your G groups, Gamma, those represent your vehicle crews. And then Foxtrot, if you have them, are pilots. Now, normally for AT teams, when you have something like a manpad or a javelin, only 1 missile is given to the main gunner, and then his assistant gets an additional 1 for 2 missiles total. For the RPG and the Carl Gustav, usually it's 3 and 3, so 6 total among the 2 players. And then Metis launchers, I think it's 4, but don't correct me on that because this is only, I think, the 2nd or 3rd time I've seen Metises in play, so we'll try to do a head count there. But otherwise, pretty well mirrored assets here. It's basically looking at OPFOR here. They are primarily using, the SA weapons, actually. I think those are 7.62, though. So this is the GREENFOR, like it's a carbon copy of the AK that you see the Chernarus Defense Force use. OPFOR might be only... 545, so they're fighting guys with bigger calibers, but they have a big numbers advantage to them. Both sides, again, having a T-72 today. OPFOR getting an extra BTR, and otherwise the vehicles are pretty well mirrored. And the Gazes, I thought they'd be the armored car version, but no, they are just the transport truck version. But I mean, SPG-9 Vics, which both have AT and HE rounds, DHKs, Independent also having 4 static 50 cals, 12.7 and 50 cal are the pretty much same caliber, with the exception of 12.7 is slightly, I think, longer, but only slightly. But it's basically a mirror match here with some slight increments because it's, you know, a GREENFOR versus Russian faction. Usually they're very similar. Audrey Hotto's kind of... I don't know what he's doing. I think he's an AI, to be perfectly honest, just the way he's moving, the way that never initiated here. So that's interesting. Because again, usually a script changes their gear, similar to how Coalition does things. But I don't know. It's interesting enough. But let's scroll up and check, because I know people were painting me. Yes, I would love to see a 100v100 death, definitely. I'm not sure if we'll get Friday night fights up to that ever, but, you know, that's how the Russian communities do stuff, and I'd absolutely love to see it one day, but we'll get there when we get there, you know? I think 100 people already is a big amount for Friday night fights, but I wouldn't want them to overdo anything, you know? So anyway, let's see. Ardenian, he's gifting a sub. That sub landed to B Snacks. Hey, Larry, look, the gift subs are working again. And Random Midocracy is also giving... no, he's getting a Twitch Prime sub on his own accord. Thank you to you both, technically the 3 of you. I hope you keep enjoying the ops. Hope you're staying safe on COVID-19. Hope you enjoy Friday Night Fights tonight. And I hope you get a kick out of this nice little operation. But I like the little added details they put in town. So this is an addition. That's not part of the map. This crop duster here, that's not part of the map. I always love the little details that get thrown in. These vehicle wrecks, for example, not part of the map. But the mission makers, they put so much effort into these missions, have a nice little amount of Easter eggs they put in as well, and it just adds a little bit of life, which I really, really enjoy here. So GREENFOR looks like they're opting to do a single cache defense. With this many players, I get that, but a single AO is going to be a little bit tough. But, you know, in a large town like this, where you've got a lot of different places you can set up shop, I get why they would do that, though. There's plenty of room to hide people in the tall grass here. I guess you'd call these the rice fields. Desert Vietnam. We have a nice flag put over here, too, as a bit of a... it's in the AO, too, so this is a false flag. Actually, there's multiple flags in here, so that's to throw OPFOR off of where the cache is, but one is close by. But I kind of like that. Again, just the, you know, trying to bait out OPFOR here. I believe this will be a 50-minute round, by the way. But I can't be too certain. But just the sheer size of this AO, it's literally a little over a fourth of the map is being used here, but... usually the AOs are just a fraction of this size, so I think that's quite interesting to see. I'll be really curious to see what the AI Arcalis unit does, because this has to be a regular AI here. Just the way it's been walking in this direction, otherwise it would have picked up a ride. And just seeing how everyone's setting up here. But this is a really big risk on GREENFOR's side. Naturally, choosing to defend only one of the 3 caches... means they're going to forfeit the other 2 caches, but OPFOR is not going to know that, so they're going to be cautious getting into these AOs. But once OPFOR realizes this, because they have that numbers advantage, they could pretty much raffle stomp the AO. But I kind of like this choice as well, because this means the full independent force is going to take on the full OPFOR force at the same time. We see independent starting to make some fortifications around this area too, so it's just going to make it more even for the PvP to get things done. The most overpowered asset on both sides, I'd argue, is definitely the T-72. Ooh, look at that. They put a nice little observation post in a tree right there. See, again, the little details that get put around. I absolutely love them, but again, it's going to really be up to GREENFOR to hide these machine guns well to try to gun down squads that come in, but I'm going to say whichever side has the better tank is probably going to win this fight, because that tank can do a massive amount of damage. GREENFOR's tank can stop OPFOR from getting into this AO stone cold, and OPFOR's tank could easily just snipe out fortified positions with HE rounds or destroy the vehicle defenses of Independent. However, the real fear that these tanks are going to have to deal with is going to be the AT guys that are part of this Charlie 2 teams on each side. So Arcord, who is a staff member of Friday Night Fights, again, fielding that Metis launcher for Independent. He's also got a buddy with him, so they have more missiles.
A waste of money, Kappa.
Meanwhile, scrolling up, again, we've got, gosh darn, that's Platoon 2. I actually don't see Charlie 2 on OPFOR. Nope, they're all the way down here, so it looks like they have the full squad. Marco's being the main gunner, and I think Staten Bay is going to be the assistant for that. So really, it's just going to be a battle of, I would just argue, the tanks. And worst comes to worst, we have all those other assets, the BTRs, for example, to help field infantry and do fire support, but it's going to really be down to the PvP. This map is a really good armor map for, you know, tank combat, because they can pull up to the side. You got to remember, they can do bigger view distances than us. I'm turning the view distance up as much as I can here from the interface. That's with page up. But we'll have to see how things go. So we'll see how things go. I think I just said that. Ah, sorry, my cat's attacking my feet. Ramble. Dutch Eagle with the 8-month resub. 8 freaking months. A waste of money, Kappa. Definitely, because Twitch takes 50%, right? Yeah. Twitch takes 50% of the subs, 50% of the bits. Twitch is, yeah, Twitch makes a lot of money. Let's just go with that. That's why I always say, guys, if you really want to support a streamer, just donate money to him directly. If you donate $1, PayPal takes 30%, but if you donate a few dollars, PayPal only takes anywhere from like 5 to 10%. The more you give, the less PayPal takes. So, you know, I would say it's better for you to just wait and save, but, you know, however you want to show your support is A-okay. Just, I like to educate people, because I know some people are very anti-Twitch. So Hudson here, he actually is knocking out some of these bushes, I guess because he doesn't want them to be used against him later, but he's knocking down entire fields of these bushes. Wow. I think this is a little bit of a mistake. I think GREENFOR could actually set up some really nice infantry traps in these bushes, but they're worried about OPFOR getting within this area and probably using the bushes to maneuver around. So yeah, Independent wants to basically take the urban areas to set up kill zones, and then the bushes, probably when OPFOR gets infantry in here, Independent doesn't want OPFOR to be able to maneuver once inside this area. So yeah, I can understand why they're doing it, but I would have rather used it to, you know, set up a squad or two in the bushes to ambush, not even a squad, like a fire team, because nothing is worse than getting some units behind enemy lines and just shooting the shit out of them from behind. Shade Shadow with the 25-month resub. So I sold. What'd you sold what? What'd you should sold what? What happened? I need to know. Ah! But yeah, Bearded, pretty much. Pretty much. But, press enter for some reason. That's fine. You can just rewrite the thing here, and I'll read it out for you. We also have a few guys. Looks like Pads is waiting on the edge as a marksman. Might go up into this facility. Again, what GREENFOR needs to do is set up their external security, and then get some sentries out to try to find where Independent's going to come from. Interesting enough, so Arcos, again, I'm going to be watching that AI. We have the T-72 here. They're gonna go hunting, I bet. But that is exactly what that Independent tank wants to do. If they can go hunting and catch some of these vehicles out of position and cause a lot of infantry death early on, that will be game-changing for the operation. But there we go. Op is a go. But if I was that tank, I'd want 1 or 2 cars to go with me just to try to scout out where OPFOR's convoy is gonna come in from. Just so that tank can have some extra sets of eyes out there. If anything, it would be risky, but maybe the SPG-9 truck would also be a good choice. Because the BTR, it's not maneuverable enough to get down here, but OPFOR already off the bat, I'll be curious to see how their force gets split here, because to them, they've got 3 AOs to take. So we'll just have to see how things go. We do have 2 guys over back here, I guess, as scouts. This is Platoon HQ2, so they have their marksman. I think they're just going to watch, but this would also be a really good AO for explosive traps. So, you know, some guys running, even though it's a cache destruction, using explosives to blow people up, it's a pretty good idea, in my opinion. So we're having some early... Oh, dear. Did they... Let me guess. They hit each other. No, they hit a rock. Ah, yes, Kujari. It's a nice open terrain, but there are rocks, so you still have to be careful driving. I was worried we might have had a mid-air... not a mid-air... a ground collision similar to last week's NA Ops, the first round. Blue 4 lost about half a squad's worth of dudes because 2 Vics hit each other. A little bit of water. And now we're just going to wait and see if any other vehicle mishaps happen. And Bloodwing's texting me about alcohol. What the heck? Alright, whatever. I'll be taking a few breaks here and there to text her, because she's lonely. And you always want to make sure your boo's okay. So interesting enough, with this OPFOR formation, we're seeing a lot of Vics kind of rush out. But the tank is lagging behind. That's a little bit of a mistake, not considering that independent tank's going to come out. But the independent tank, in my opinion, is also being misplayed here. They're biased in the sense that they're defending this 1AO, so they're expecting OPFOR to only focus on that 1AO, which is why they're over here, because if OPFOR only had this cache to hit, riding the edge of the map would be a good strategy. That tank needs to be more towards the center of the map to cover more ground, because OPFOR doesn't know the strategy here. So... that's tough. They need to be... Again, this is where additional vehicles helping the tank find hostile units would have been super duper helpful. You can see it maneuvering right there. Honestly, just reading the map, so we got, like, you know, 26 marker right here. That would be the best hill for them to be on to look at things. But, you know, there's also a lot of ground to cover with everything. Larry, are you offering to pay me for mod? Gosh, I just... man. Larry, what do you expect of me? I'm not just some person you can give a shit ton of money for mod. I mean, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Like, come on, man. I have a little bit of class here, alright? I know it's not much, but there's... God, you know, I'm just so disgusted with that statement, all right? Don't ever talk to me or my sons again. Ever. I'm waiting for it. But anyway, OPFOR's coming in with a massive convoy here, and we'll see how things go. But it looks like they're going to focus on the 2 empty caches first because of luck here. And then... I think they've also sent a recon force over here to come in on the right side. But I mean, look at this massive convoy. See, again, if GREENFOR had the tank in the middle, they'd actually catch this one coming. But they're just completely out of position because, again, they're looking... They shouldn't be here. They should assume what OPFOR assumes, that all of the AOs are in play. So they gotta be in the center here. So a little bit of a misplay by that tank. They're using infantry dismounts to scout, but really they just needed just a few empty vehicles would have been fine. You know? That's just me, though. There's the joke. Okay, so they might actually catch this vehicle coming up, but we'll have to see how things go there. But no, I trust Larry. Larry's been a T2 for a while in TSB, so might as well show that I do chill out. But yeah, we'll see if that Vic runs into a tank. I do like how they're trying to hide it here, but again, just a bit of a misplay. Something just exploded. Doesn't look like it was anything on OPFOR's side. It was GREENFOR blowing out some buildings back here. They've also got a lot of groups set up over here. This is probably going to be a flanking force for later. I don't know why they demoed those, though. That's a big... That's where the other flags are, though. That's confusing. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to show that they're hiding the cache? I don't know. That's a weird one. Well, let's see. These infantry, this is one of the marksmen that have been dropped off. I don't think the Vic's gonna spot those guys out in the open, because that tank could literally just go up and murder them. We got the BTR also coming up. And OPFOR is deploying its Vics over here to go for these two caches on the left. I like how they're keeping their main force, though. Tanks being a little underwhelmed here, being kept towards the back. Because, again, if Independent had the tank in the center, they probably would have spotted this massive group, and they could have done some serious damage because OPFOR's tank is completely out of position. But just, the tunnel vision. The fucking tunnel vision, man. I hate it. I hate it. I know, Larry, I'm just fucking with you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Not much to talk about here. Independence kind of lost the opportunity to dish some serious damage to the convoy. It could still come around, but by then the OPFOR tank's going to be in position to counter. And you're seeing OPFOR starting to do some dismounts, so their AT guy is going to also get out and ready to go. And long-range tank combat against Metis isn't that hard, because you just have to have a guy looking at the convoy, looking for the AT guy, and if you see if you hear the pop of the AT launcher, the driver just has to hold S to backpedal, and as long as you're far enough away, you should be able to evade the shot. Well, otherwise, we're having, looks like the AT Vic and an MG Vic driving back here. Again, that could also do some pretty nasty damage to the convoy, but with all the infantry starting to dismount the Vics, it's going to be less and less effective for that tank to, you know, get a multi-kill on a truck filled with OPFOR guys. So yeah, I think this is just the bias of GREENFOR. OPFOR doesn't know this position exists, but again, if they just centralize that, I get what, like, they were thinking... They didn't dumb themselves down enough to OPFOR's level, because OPFOR doesn't know where GREENFOR is going to deploy their troops. But look at this interesting battle line we're having right here. We got the tank on the right. We have a transport truck in the middle, driven by a rando. And we got the SPG-9 flanking on the left. So I do like seeing these vehicles get divided among the entire platoon. That's going to work out really well for them to spread out all their heavy weapons. Again, looking for that independent tank, because they don't know where that tank is. And I'd be curious to know if Independent has any word on OPFOR yet. Instead, they're just kind of playing defensive here. Another thing I'm curious about, there's Arcalis' AI still with the vanilla gun. But that vanilla launcher is going to be really interesting. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on. I don't think this is correct. Hold up. Arcalis is running after the car that Arcalis is in. Wait a minute. Wait a second. If you're Arcalis... I think he's actually noticed that that's Arcalis. Arcalis has found his clone. And he's now coming up to ask him what he's doing here. This is a bit of a misplay by Arcalis himself. Arcalis seems to have a body double from the future. Just based off of this gear, this is definitely a chunkier weapon, a chunkier launcher. I think he's just staring at himself. I guess we got some Back to the Future plays here. Arcalis is going to get some help from his body double. And we'll just have to see how that plays in this operation somehow. I don't know. To say what it actually is, Arcalis probably lagged out while he was joining the server, but it still slotted him up. And then for whatever reason, when he rejoined the exact same slot, because you notice these are both AT slots, it didn't delete the AI. This is a very rare glitch in Arma. But with the amount of rare glitches that are in Arma, it makes them all common to see, but stuff happens. Oh, hold on one second. Someone just gave me another multi. I know you guys love multis here, so let me add this to the list. This is a guy named Dutch Recon. So if you want to see Dutch guys do recon stuff, do !multi and you can get it updated. I do like the little MG bunkers they've made, but now Arcalis looks like Arcalis is still staring at his clone, a little wary that he could be a spy. No, he's just changing inventories here. Looks like he's dropping the RPG to give the Hadav. No, he was, I guess, I don't know. He put him on the floor and then put him back on his backpack. I'd normally question that, but someone that has a clone of himself in the field from the future, I generally don't say anything. Anyway, looks like Independent probably spotted this OPFOR force, and now they might try to go around and hit him from the rear, or they didn't, and they are trying to go hunt for that force now. Meanwhile, looking over here in this corner, you got 3 guys that are prone. Maybe they were engaged by the OPFOR group over here. Maybe they spotted this guy. I don't know, but they seem to be alerted over something. And it looks like the marksman maybe is trying to crawl into position here. Meanwhile, Arcalis and Arcalis are still around. So this AI is tied to the squad leader here, or at least the group leader, which is why he's running around. But hold on, if I click on him, we have Arcalis. Wait, there's 2 Arcalises! Which one's the real Arcalis? I guess we'll never know. Yeah, just AI following the squad leader. Arma's a perfectly wonderful game with exactly 0 bugs. 0! They're all features. It was Arcalis. You see, he did really well last week, so he was able to call in a favor called Divine Intervention, and he chose to have a clone of himself. I would have gone for the attack helicopter, personally, but you can never be too careful. But meanwhile, Adrihato and Gorski, Adrihato's coming for his multi-kill! They're going to try to drive behind enemy lines here. We still got a lot of Vics nearby friendlies here. They could definitely score kills on these BTR-70s, which are fully geared up here. This could be an interesting first contact here. Normally we don't see that much with first contacts. Meanwhile, we have these guys. I think they definitely know that OPFORs or Independents over there, because they're definitely looking in that direction. That's why they got down. We're seeing some map markers also being put down, someone holding their mouse button to wheel that out. Oh, this could be devastating. They have their own engines on, so they're not going to hear the enemy engines coming in. SPG-9 breaks over. This is going to be a drive-by. Come in. No one's pulling rear security. Oh my god. Is Independent not gonna fire? What? 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 Are both teams just bad today? Like, what just happened? You had a perfect rear shot on BTRs. Like... See, now you got people looking around. They're not going to be able to do that again. Like... Why? All they needed to do was notice this force and then line up an SPG-9 shot and then pull it back and then do a wide berth. They could have gotten a pretty knocking out one of these BTRs, using an HE round to knock out a group of dudes that had an LR next to them. There were so many targets of opportunity here. I mean, this one would have been devastating because it's filled with guys and there were dudes climbed on the back, so they would have noticed that and then gotten... Why? What a fucking squander! That was perfect for Independent! Absolutely perfect! And now they're gonna come back in from the front where the Vics are facing. What is this? No, there's no way in hell they didn't notice that OPFOR was here. They literally just drove right next to them. Like, what the... I thought Audrey Hotto was gonna get his new level of multi-kill. Actually, hold up. Maybe he did that to spook them so they'd all mount up here, because now both of these BTRs are filled to the brim. Vic's coming back around. Audrey Hotto trying to line up an AT shot. Will he get it? He's gonna drive right in front of these BTRs. He misses! What are you doing? Use the DHK on the BTR. Get the multi-kill. That's... Oh my god. What are you doing? Well, okay, he shot the driver out of that, Vic. He's completely ignoring the BTR. Another SPG-9 miss. The gunner just went down. Tank bean... Nope, it's going away. Why didn't you just... DHK the... That would have penetrated and gotten so many kills. Another SPG-9 miss. What are you doing? You blew up a car. Oh, this pisses me off to watch. What? There we go. Maybe? Never mind. But, may you die well, Independent. May you die well. So we still have Platoon HQ back here. They just take Spider out. BTRs are coming around to potentially drop off troops to close the gap here. There's an entire BTR filled with infantry being pulled back. We got Bob coming around. Security should be called here, but Bob squandering by spraying, gets headshotted by Audrey Hotto. So Audrey on 2 kills. They're shooting machine gun rounds over here. BTR pulling around. Someone needs to get on that SPG-9. They should hear it. You should hear it, guys. There's the mount. Perfect shot. Perfect shot. Multiple RPGs coming in, knocking multiple guys out. This is what you wanted to see. Okay, so Independent getting a little bit of their skills back. More RPGs going up on that. That's cooking it off. Okay. All right, a little less squandering as Audrey Hotto, the man that has the kill record for Friday Night Fights, getting his 4th kill off of a multiple dismounts of a BTR. Most of these guys are probably going to be wounded, so if Independent forces now push their offensive here, they could be able to lock things in. Meanwhile, there are only 2 wheels down on that SPG-9, and there's 2 spare wheels in the Vic, so they could recover that SPG-9 car. And there's also transport trucks back here that they could utilize. Meanwhile, Command firing back, trying to snipe Gorski out, as these guys are now pushing that position. Alec firing widely here. Audrey Hotto might be caught out of the open here, and he is shot dead by some of the dismounts back here. So a little too far of a wide flank, that's because there's not that much concealment to go around here. But these Independent guys are sweeping things through. We just saw a tank shell fly back here because the T-72 is angry, but he's got a really good sight line over here. One of the guys is turned out as a glitch. That's a little bad. But yeah, all right, these guys are starting to make up for that, I don't even know what to call it, play right there. So OPFOR, meanwhile, they're looking for that 1 cache. Independent has the advantage right now because they've gotten a lot of kills here. And we have some people pushing up. Unfortunately, Banana Man was too smart. Or was that Immonum? Nope, it had to have been Banana Man because he has the kill. Okay, no, it was Ash. Sorry. Found another Independent guy over on the left and hit him down. Meanwhile, you got some guys pushing up. They're looking around, trying to find more stragglers as OPFOR tries to pull their units back. You're seeing some more bullets. Banana Man trying to get a shot right there. Unfortunately, exposes himself. Crawls out of position right here, but is not spotted by Independent. Gorski. Oh, Immonum showing some PvP skills right there, getting a double kill off of Independent forces right there. And this leaves this one poor Chad to try to get some kills here. Smoke round going around. I don't think that's what Banana Man wanted to fire, but I would say this independent force did its job despite the little mishap that happened there. But there was definitely missteps on both sides that, not gonna lie, hurt a little bit to watch, but... Wow, like... Personally, that SPG-9, they could have hit one of the BTRs in the back, pulled back, came from a different angle, hit the other BTR in the back. Just because you're mobile, or the DHK could have mag dumped that other BTR as it came back when they filled up. I mean, just... People forget 50 cal and 12.7 can penetrate BTR 80s. And with it fully loaded of dudes inside, it will cause a significant amount of damage. But, just wow. Just wow, wow, wow. That was... I mean, it still ended in Independent's favor like it should have, but... Oh, man. So meanwhile, these guys have to have been told that the main OPFOR force is way over here now, so I wonder if they'll reposition. But... Ay. So, Pizzagrin, he's gotten a few kills, probably from the AT hits on that BTR. He's looking around, trying to find an angle on some of these OPFOR guys. If I was him, I would grab what I can and pull back, because he's already been identified right here. Instead, he's trying to find some angles. But the tank is shooting up at his position. Trying to get a few shots into Monum. Try to catch him out bandaging. Monum's head went up a little bit because he was too close to the rock. More tank rounds coming in, but that tank needs to be using something different. And it looks like the infantry are going to displace here. But Monum, he's getting suppressed by a tank. He's not letting that stop him, though. And we're seeing a smoke grenade now billow out. OPFOR, meanwhile, getting some units around. NASA with that SPG-9 car. You can tell by a little line in the back. He's pushed up to try to spot what's going on. PZ's trying to get an RPG out to see this tank. Bruh, that tandem is not gonna make it. You're just gonna get yourself killed. Bro, he's literally... Tank round went back, and it somehow... based off the smoke, I think that was just his round going off, actually. Throwing a frag out, catches a Monum out of position, manages to knock him out. Beautiful shot by this guy. And now he's going to decide to pull back. Not a bad call. If he identifies that he could repair the wheels on this Vic, he could go hunt that tank down. Whether or not he'll be smart enough to do that is anyone's guess. But again, each car has a spare wheel. He can pull the wheel off of that puppy. And that should still have some spare ammo or two. But Monum, he wakes back up. He's crawling by. Played dead after getting shot. And now we're having the independent tank starting to sweep around to the south. But this is the position the OPFOR tank's already looking. I'd be really disappointed if that independent tank gets caught out of position. But the BTR is also joining him, as independent is now trying to be offensive in attacking the convoy as it comes in. But convoy's been mostly dismounted here as forces are pulling around. Looks like OPFOR is going to commit a lot of its guys to the left cache now and try to sweep this through. This might be an hour-long operation, though, considering all the timing here, but we'll get a warning in about 10 minutes, 10 and a half minutes if it's a 50-minute operation. So we'll see how things go. Would a tandem... oh yeah, no, a tandem would, because there's no, I don't think there's any ERA plating on this puppy. Yeah, no, that thing in here would definitely, kill it. Or at least disable it heavily. Really, you want to aim for the rear, but that can do a lot of damage. The issue with the tandem warhead, though, is that it's slow and heavy. So, PZ here, trying to see if that car's still up. I don't see any movement, so it very well could be that its engine's dead, which is something he wouldn't be able to fix. But he's just chilling in this car right now. And you still have a Monum bandaging up. Might try to look back and possibly spot him out in the open. He's definitely looking for him. He saw his binos out there. But the tank is now pushing north, and this three-man team is coming around. Might catch this other independent marksman team out of position because Pads is over there with that marksman rifle. It's one of them, at least. It might not be Pads. It might be Dingo. Nope, it is Pads. I was right. But they both got their rangefinders out looking for targets here. So it looks like Monum, he's going to go back north on his own because his entire group was shot. Sorry, I just hit that wrong button. And I want to see if PZG here will be able to repair those wheels. But overall, that was a Pyrrhic victory for Independent. In my opinion, that was dumb. That was just... Well, let's look at the roster here. Let's see how many skulls we got. So Audrey Hotto's team, mostly down. No other skulls are going to be seen on Independent, but OPFOR, we got skull, 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 and the 2 IC, skull. So, again, good trade-off, but there were just so many ways they could have done that better. So tank has stopped over here. It's trying to look for targets, but this intel's old, and that tank needs to now adapt. Again, it could catch vehicles out of position very easily, but it just seems to have been lagging behind this entire time. I'm curious. Looks like OPFOR might have spotted the Independent team right there. They're having Dylan crawl up. They really need to get Bassbeard in position here to get these shots. These guys might have noticed. No, they did not. I mean, they're sitting ducks right here with their binos out, looking the northern pass. I mean, if they were to properly PID which guy had the marksman rifle, they could easily shoot out pads first and then pick off Dingo. I just heard another stray shot. We got some OPFOR forces starting to come around this AO. BTR, again, Independent doing a decent job setting up where OPFOR was, but it's too little too late. There's the shot. Unfortunately, none of them were headshots. Because why was... What? Why was the marksman crawling away in that volley? Maybe he was part of that first barrage, but... A little bit of a miss. I don't know, just OPFOR is not hitting their marks today. Anyway, SPG-9 round coming in. I don't know where that landed. Doesn't look like we had any kills here, but that is exactly what you want to be doing with the SPG-9 vehicle attacking a fortified force. You want to get at an angle, you want to range it, shoot the round, and then go some other position. That's exactly what Audrey Hotto's Vic should have done. To at least force them to go mobile, because that means he could have gotten more kills, but... Now OPFOR, we're going to see how to properly use that SPG-9 car here. Meanwhile, OPFOR has deployed in this cache site. They're going to find this other cache wickety split. Independent's going to be able to call up on LR to say, hey, they're going for this one cache, so get ready to defend because the real fight's going to happen soon. But I wonder if these Vics will come and maybe Lichman will get into comms with that BTR, potentially get this Vic working again, but he's staying back just to be defensive. So this BTR is going to pass by. Hope there's no green-on-green incident there. And OPFOR, they're resetting right here and starting to look over the last AO. So I would argue it's still anyone's game. Independent has a little bit of an advantage right now with that initial strike, but that could easily change with all the assets that we have here. I mean, like, actual, like, head count, it was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it was basically 4 to 9 from the looks of it, which means it's a little over a 2 to 1. And then we have French, who's also dead. I think he was killed in the SPG-9 hit that happened up here, actually. So I think they hit up here. So that was a beautiful HE shot. And some blood down here, so they definitely use an HE warhead. And if they can keep getting licks in like that, they'll be A-okay. But anyway, PZ picked up by Nomas's BTR-70, and they are going to continue to be mobile. So that is cool. Too bad Drongo's active protection system script is not compatible with your mods. I mean, in my opinion, RHS's ERA armors do a pretty realistic job, but it's only against other RHS fix. If you fight them against Cup or 3CB, it's not always proper. But anyway, Olaf opening up with the marksman rifle. Fred trying to range some shots. They got a good position on where OPFOR is mounting and dismounting. No kills yet. Those two opening shots managed to spook the vehicles here. Oh yeah, no, these guys in a good position. Vic's going up right here. They're firing back, but they aren't being accurate. They're just firing in the general direction. That's going to make these guys kind of freak out around. However, a fast-moving DHK car could easily come up and murder this marksman team. So it looks like Independence is actually going to pull their vehicles back. I personally think that's a little bit of a mistake. They could continue hunting here. But I do like how we do have some guys doing recon on the rear area here while the tank does Overwatch. But I think Independent should risk the tank going in and doing attacks because they have the defensive mat team that can take the tank out on the defensive advantage. So again, a little bit of a misplay in my opinion, but this off's already been full of them, you know? So it looks like Pads and Dingo left this position and moved more inland here. It looks like they're being sent out to possibly go look for that SPG-9 car, which is repositioning as well. We might see the 15-minute pop-up happen in a few minutes, but that's still to be seen. So meanwhile, BTR has some dismounts right here. Olaf might be able to get some good shots in, but he might be getting tunnel visioned here. He's looking too far to the left. If he were to look a little to the right, or a spotter were to be a little more on par here, they might have been able to spot this BTR mountain, but it's already pulling away. So I hope these guys have transport nearby, because if they don't, they're going to be out of this game very quickly, because they're not going to be able to get back into this AO, because it's a good 4 clicks away. So that cache has been taken out, and now OPFOR is going to start folding in, but we might have the Independent BTR drive up to one of OPFOR's marksman teams out of the blue. And the gunner is pointing the exact right way, but I don't think he's going to catch him. No, he might have. Gunner just turned right. Oh, he totally saw something. No, no, loop back around. Loop back around. Come on. They might be spooked thinking there's AT up there, but I know for a fact that he thought he saw something. SPG-9 round coming in. Looks like it landed far from this angle. I think he might have been trying to hit that battle tower again where people were. Maybe that tank's gonna come up and get some kills here. Come on. Come on. They're exposed. You're looking right at him. You got a guy turned out with the gun. The gunner's even looking right at him. He's right there. You guys are freaking... Ah, yes. Yes! Get up there and kick their asses. They're gonna spot Dylan. There's the machine gun rounds. There goes Dylan. Getting hit by that 7.62 coax. Grenadier round going on top of the Vic. I cannot tell if anyone's wounded or not. Doesn't look like it, but they're pulling back. Firing up here. Dylan might wake up from that, might not, though. I don't know if any of that 12.7 hit him on the main gun. But God, with that tank, they don't know that there's no AT guys up there, but they could totally go up and run them down. Again, they might think that that Grenadier round was an AT round or something, or they might think there's more guys up there, but gosh darn it. If I was looking at that roster and I saw dudes prone close by, I would, and I only saw a few, I would definitely try to run them down because... You know, the AT is very limited in Friday night fights. Especially if GREENFOR was providing good intel, they'd know that their main force was over here, so this is more likely just a scouting group, you know? Meanwhile, OPFOR making a push. There's the 15 minutes remaining marker. It's about to get very, very hectic as OPFOR is now going to be a little more frantic to field their units in. Not a lot of cover going up to this position, but look at this beautiful little cop that GREENFOR has dug. The one issue with this, though, is if the SPG-9 car gets an HE round in here, it's going to cause a lot of damage. So we'll see that combat happen a bit. Tanks coming around to possibly field in another few kills, but that thing needs to be used to run things down at this point. But OPFOR tank coming in as well. I'm curious to see where C2 is. Where is Arcor? Arcor is... What the fuck? There he is. He's in the tower. That's the best position he's going to be in to spot that tank from coming in. But since the SPG-9 has already been engaged in that spot, you have to assume that OPFOR knows about that position and is going to treat it like a threat. But with how both teams have been playing, anything's possible here. So OPFOR tank now pushing up. They're going to find Dylan's body. And they're looking left now as OPFOR is hiding. I don't think they spotted them, though. SPG-9 round landing again on that tower. Ooh, multiple shots. So that's denying Arcor the ability to go up there and spot things to hit. We have another dead body up here. So that's the second one that SPG-9's been able to hit. Beautiful call there. We also seen some vehicles getting shot out. But yeah, no, these guys blew up these buildings to use them as cover. Not a bad call there, but now the main fight is beginning. One OPFOR guy's down. He had an RPG, was probably knocking that Vic out. And now you're going to see all these assets get fielded. Meanwhile, the tank and the BTR need to now ignore that area up there. Looks like Dylan bled out. Might have gotten double tap. But they need to now come up from the south and engage this position, at least to try to find where the enemy armor is. Meanwhile, OPFOR tank coming up in the AO, mounting the gun, but he is firing the... Never mind, I forgot. Soviet technology is awkward. So he is, dead. He is dead now. Okay, well, glad we sorted that. Interesting debacle there. AT round coming in. It is close. All right, so that tank, it's doing its fair share there, though. We have another guy down. If I was Smith, I would grab that PKP and start using it. That's a better weapon used for fire support. AT coming in. Arcor's clone is down. No! Arcor, your man from the future is dead, unfortunately. And BTR looks like they did a massive push right here. They are right on top of the cash position. Monum went up. He is down, but he is hidden. And grenades are being tossed back and forth here. There is combat everywhere as another BTR is being fielded. Actually, it's the same BTR now coming around. And Independence vehicles are completely out of position. You have got the marksman team coming in. But yeah, no, this tank could do a lot of damage because Arcor hasn't been able to get up to a spot to do anything. You have the SPG-9 Vic coming up here. They're going to try to probably check this area out. But OPFOR losing a little bit of the firefight right here as they're trying to breach into this one spot. Goatland doing a big push up here right on top of a smoke grenade, popping some grenades really close. And that managed to knock down Andrew. Another guy going down. Goatland, another guy we see really good at PvP, getting 2 kills right there, clearing out this cop position as these guys are now throwing grenades back and forth here. And we just had an AT round come in. That was Arcor firing at the tank, but minimal damage as these vehicles are rushing in because where is the independent vehicle support? They're finally... No, they're still going away. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. So this tank is now going to be able to go in here and get super CQB here as the BTR is firing at a bunch of different directions. Another AT round came in because this tank was being used a little carelessly, but it is still a static target. I'm not seeing any cook-off going on here. It can still do a lot of damage from that one spot as a static turret. So other OPFOR round coming in. Some guys that were on the back are now dead. T5 Bay pulling out by the Vic. Logan desyncing to ignore all those shots, but then his own BTR just killed him. So this Vic is now cooking off. Independent doing their best to try to prevent the guys dismounting, but T5 Bay needs to get away from this Vic. He's crippled. He's screwed. And there's the explosion. Wait. There it is. Whoa, no, Bay actually survived. Interesting enough. A lot of fire going back and forth. More OPFOR guys coming out on reserve here. That tank firing rounds in as well. There needs to be more AT put on the engine to fully cook it off. It's also stuck in a wall. Interesting enough. But yeah, I'm really annoyed that these independent Vics are just... They're, I guess, trying to stay on the back line, but OPFOR is already rushing everything in. It's neck and neck right here, because this is where the really important fight is right here, because the cache is right there. OPFOR doesn't know that specifically, though. All they know is that the Vics are right here. But, yeah, no, those Vics need to be a little less out in the open. Again, we see units being used overcautiously all the time in Friday night fights, but the proper information is not being condoned here. Look at that grenade throw! Literally right next to Sin, it just followed him up to this building. And we still have independent guys crawling around. OPFOR needs to make some initiative here. We're seeing these tank rounds still firing around. Independent standing firm. But Twig King pushing around. I think he is streaming, by the way. He just has to find an area. He might pick up an enemy gun to confuse audio PID, or I guess he might be looking for bandages. But now we're seeing the independent vehicles finally coming around. And they're firing at Scandi Recon, who is pushing up. But at this range, it's still not going to be 100% effective. Goatland, no, it was being shot at from up here. One of these guys was able to get a kill. OPFOR could still clutch this because they are right on top of this cash position. They still have a good number here. 4 still up, fighting against 5. But Twig King, he's going to volt around, and he might catch Stray Dog defending this cash right here. So Independent loses another guy. Twig King, I think he's seen the cash, so he might try to breach around the other way to catch Stray Dog out of position. He's gonna catch Allen out of position. And there's one headshot right there. I mean, are any of these guys EOD? No, but there is an EOD guy. Royd, if he is told to come over here, they could put some demo on that cash and still clutch this from Independent. It's still anyone's game. Dooley's down, probably from the tank rounds. And Twig's running around. Stray Dog unfortunately gave himself away, and Stray Dog goes down. Twig is now going to probably start mag dumping this cash, but Independent is in dangerous water here. They could easily lose this match. Twig King just has to do a lot of mag dumps in here. Montgomery's going to start running in. Standers might catch him out of position, though. He also has the Metis. Oh, but Montgomery gets him as he's crawling up. That Metis shot could have destroyed the cache easily. But now it's going to be up to Twig King to get some mag dumps in or get Demo to come in and assist. Montgomery, he might he's going to probably play a little more cautiously now. Now he just saw an OPFOR guy run up to him. More AT coming into this tank. And guys are getting gunned down around it, but it's going to be up to Montgomery to clutch. But T5 Bay also coming into this building. So Twig King trying to throw some grenades on it. Montgomery's running in, though. If Montgomery's listening, he could catch him while he's reloading, but he's stuck vaulting in because of all the Independent Forces defenses. Montgomery running into the bullets to try to stop the shots from going down. Now I don't see how OPFOR could win this. So that demo expert we saw earlier, he is now dead. Independent rallying around, but just the misuse of tactics here on both sides almost let OPFOR clutch this victory. We do see an OPFOR guy's woken up over here. He could pick up an RPG and possibly sneak in, but now Independent's going to be a lot more defensive of this cache site. Meanwhile, Nemesis running in, sweeping this cop. Getting some double taps, making sure he gets the kills here. He could also do a clutch because he's pretty effective. But this tank has survived all sorts of punishment. I'm willing to bet that the clipped-in wall is also stopping a little bit of damage because that's just how Arma works, especially over that engine block. And also, got some more OPFOR guys coming around. They're trying to avoid the tank, but the tank's going to start running them down. But yeah, if that tank just starts mag dumping that area, it's still anyone's game. Spring could pull an Audrey Hotto and get multiple kills here. Marco wakes back up. Was Spring a medic? That's why Spring was a medic. And we have 2 more that could push it. It's close. This is very, very close. And the tank shooting in here, I mean, they could do some additional damage here. There's still bullets flying on both sides, but it's just, we've seen 2 types of squandering of assets on both sides in this major fight. OPFOR was a little over-aggressive here, but they kind of had the advantage. Meanwhile, Independent was a little more cautious, but they missed most of the fight, and they're just doing sweep-up right now. Nemesis stuck in the Hesco barrier. I guess he was trying to vault over. Hurts himself a little bit. He's going to go for kills here, because I don't think anyone's told OPFOR command where that cache is. Hudson, I think, was just shooting at Nemesis. Naf's also pushing up. Two really big PvPers here. Ooh, Nemesis might get cut out of the open here by this private first class because of those small windows. Nemesis instead opting to vault over instead. And Naf's also joining him because PFC, he's gonna come around, shoot Naf's in the back, gets the kill. Nemesis cut out in the open, no, manages to vault the wall. Ooh. I think Nemesis might have just shot an independent guy over here dead. So he's on 4 kills too. But this PFC looking around trying to find him. Oh! Whoa! Nemesis winning that fight. Both of them taking a lot though. Gets the double tap. Quickly reloads the box. Sprain, meanwhile, getting caught out of the open as he's maneuvering. That is not good for OPFOR. Marco's still up. He is going to play this cautiously now. Might catch Hudson out in the open. Manages to get him dropped, but not killed. So he might want to go for the double tap. But these guys, they're listening to PID. They'll be able to hear it. This grenade will probably keep him down, though. So unfortunately, Hudson also has his dick blown off, but that's okay. Nemesis still close, and we still have guys in here. 3 minutes remaining. There are 4 independent defenders, 2 independent guys that are down. Speaking of that, aim at the balls close by where someone just had a grenade go off. But this tank's gonna have to dismount here because we still have 2 OPFOR guys that have pushed in, Wheaton and Max. Meanwhile, independent Vics are still circling. Spreen, meanwhile, waking back up. He is a medic. He could heal himself. And Nemesis pushing on, staying to the rooftops, trying to find some angles on these buildings. He's going to see that cache. I wonder if he could mag dump it through the window. He's going to need a lot of ammo to do that, though, but that's also really risky. He could. He could literally take this out of their nose. Grenadier round going in, but there's the mag dump. Unfortunately, Nemesis gets dropped because he was a little too funneled right there. Marco coming up, shooting through the window, trying to get a kill. Doesn't look like it's effective, but that cache has taken quite a beating here. I'd be willing to bet if more grenades went in, it would be all they needed. But now we got the vehicle crew guys putting grenadier rounds in here, I guess trying to knock the building. OPFOR, even though Independent has the numbers advantage here, OPFOR is starting to close the gap here. Again, if Independent was less cautious with those Vics and a little more directs, not even just with the Vics they have right now, with all of their Vics they've had in play today, I think we'd be seeing a much different fight here. But 2-minute warning, specifically 1.5-minute warning, it is do or die. OPFOR, everyone's going to be seeing that clock, and there needs to be something that happens. That tank honestly needs to just pull into the AO at this point because it's not doing any favor staying out here. It tries to catch Max out of position. We have Kaiju coming in, getting shot at by Max though. Little bit of a miss PID there, which is very unfortunate. Marco, meanwhile, coming around, throwing a grenade high. It's another smoke. Honestly, if you were to get to this window and put that tandem heat through the window, it would be GG. 1 minute remaining. Multiple smokes coming around. Honestly, if Wheaton gets that medicine, that would also be devastating. T5 Bay getting picked off. It is up to Dingo and Montgomery. They have 45 seconds remaining. Kaiju now going offensive here. Honestly, just get the AT out. But the smoke is too thick. Montgomery knocking out Kaiju. But Wheaton getting Montgomery. Dingo is now last man defending. Wheaton, you just need to get the AT out and boof it, man. There's no need to get the kills. But I think he just got him. 15 seconds remaining. AT, Wheaton needs to pull this AT out and shoot the cache. 10 seconds remaining. It's gonna be close. He's getting the AT out. There it is with 7 seconds remaining. Oh, God. Ooh. I'm glad OPFOR won this because, honestly, it's better to have your assets go balls to the wall and do something than your assets to be overcautious and do nothing when it's not critical for them to do anything anymore. Yes, the independent vehicles were... Did you just see that BTR Arma itself on the caches right there? That was pretty cute. But yes, you know, normally you don't want your units to go balls to the wall and get wasted or squandered, but with that shock, that allowed OPFOR to get units closer in, which let them set up that entire fight in the first place. So again, I'm really annoyed at Independent's choice of vehicle battles there, because they could have been so much better utilized in my opinion. But you win, you lose, you learn. So hopefully, I don't remember who was commanding GREENFOR on that side, learns from his mistakes. But wow, just wow, oh wow, that was a close one.